Welcome to Outside Shots, presented to you by Studio K and Circle K. Join Inner Circle for free by downloading the Circle K app today. Terms and conditions apply at participating locations. Visit CircleK.com for details. EJ's in the house. I'm in the house. We appreciate you being in the house. We see BC's already in the chat talking about the Lakers and LeBron. Good for you. But we got a lot of things to get into. First and foremost, I wanted to start off because I'm a big fan of leadership styles. I'm a big fan of, looking at people and how they approach communication with teammates, superiors, subordinates. And Charles Barkley had something to say about Devin Booker and his role in terms of leadership and the Suns.
He's a terrific player.
He was perfect on Team USA. He's been the best player on a finals team, right? That was 3 years ago.
Yes. But the whole dynamic of the team changed when KD and Bill came there.
Yeah.
So now they got to have leadership. He's got to take the leadership role because I think he's reluctant because people assume that KD's the best player. I said, but your best player don't have to. Kevin has said he doesn't want to be a leader. He just want to play basketball. And I challenged Booker last year, and they got mad. I said, Suns don't have any leadership. They don't have a style of play. And they got mad, which I don't care. But I said, it's got to be Booker. He's going to take a serious leadership role because people are going to
maybe it'll happen.
People gonna listen to him because he's a great player, but he's got to become more of a leader, got to be more of a vocal leader.
I 1,000,000% agree with Charles in this regard. I think Devin Booker learned a lot about himself last year because I can imagine it would be a little difficult when you have Kevin Durant and Bradley Beal on your team, and they have also, in an indirect kind of way, have either been a vocal leader or just a leader that people look up to in terms of their performances on the court and how they represent themselves. And I think both are true with Bradley Beal and Kevin Durant, But Devin Booker, to me, should be the leader of this team. And I think over the course of last year, he saw some things that I think he learned from, in my estimation. And I don't know if you have any further insight into that, but I truly believe that Devin Booker is going to take a little bit more of a leadership role vocally and more demonstratively from the outside perspective. When you're watching a game, you can clearly see who is in charge or who is the leader of the team. And it doesn't necessarily mean that he needs to eliminate other people from speaking up. I don't think that's what we're talking about. It's just who's the one that you can go to and be accountable. It's kind of like when the referees ask who's the speaking captain. Devin Booker would be the speaking captain.
Well, I think when you're talking about leader, you're talking about vocal leader. Because on a basketball team, you have all types of leaders in a number of capacities. So you're talking about a vocal leader. Because Kevin Durant leads by example of how he plays on the court,
absolutely,
and how he focuses. His uniform is on every game. He tries to put it on despite what he's gone through over the last number of years with injury. That's leadership. Another form of leadership was Bradley Beal last year, where he had to change his game because he couldn't be the Bradley Beal that was in Washington, so he had to change his game. Well, other guys see that. They see, okay, Bill's changing his, so I can't complain about my change in scenery in regards to my role on the team. So every player has a leadership responsibility. Guys at the end of the bench that doesn't play much, they need to show leadership because when a guy comes out of the game, a lot of times that guy comes out of the game happy or sad or mad. One of them three. And if he's happy, you first one up. Hey, man. If he's sad, pick him up. You got it. Be ready next time. If he's mad, hey, man, come on down here. What's going on? Man, I don't like he took me out of the game and they're not getting me the ball. You show leadership down there. So on every team, everybody has an opportunity to be a leader. The practice habits. Guy doesn't play a lot, but in practice, this dude is leading the charge on the second unit, pushing everybody, making them play hard, making the starters play hard. That's leadership. And then vocal leadership is a guy that takes total control and he oversees everything and he talks above everyone else. As you said, I don't think Kevin enjoys that situation, but Devin could be that guy. Bradley Beal could be that guy. Nurkic could be that guy. You know why Nurkic could be that guy? Strongest dude on the team. Like that intimidation factor. Does he have that in him? So it's a lot of guys that can be leaders. So I wouldn't just put it on Devin's plate. I would just say that from a vocal leader standpoint, it would be great if it was Devin. It would be great if it was KD. It'd be great if it was Bill. But a lot of times on a lot of teams, that's just not the case, man.
Yeah, I get you, but listen, they're the faces of the organization, and they're the ones that are going to have to speak the most about what's going on the court. So inevitably, you have to, if you're Devin Booker, to some degree, you have to take on that role because we saw it last year. How many times was he asked about what's going on with the Suns or what's wrong here or what's wrong there? So inadvertently, he's going to be the representative and KD, and I think one of them is going to have to step up in terms of being a little bit more vocal on the court, holding guys accountable. And I think especially when you weren't getting that, in my estimation, from the coaching staff, like it just didn't look like there was a lot of accountability on that side of things. They were a good team. They won 49 games. That's fantastic. But what could have been better? What could have been more improved? And I think Devin Booker has a large role in that because he's the face of the franchise.
Well, I mean, from a perfection standpoint, if you had to take somebody, you would like to say that. And I would like to see if Devin can be more aggressive this year and be that guy, that vocal leader. But I'm saying to you, you can't do it and not be real. Like you can't just give it to somebody and think that they're going to immerse themselves into it. If they're not comfortable doing it, it's going to sound corny when they try to lead.
Sure.
And then that makes it worse. So you have to really have an idea of what it takes to be a leader. I just remember, man, I was scoring all the points in Kansas City, taking all the shots, but I was not a good leader. And I couldn't understand why guys were mad at me because I was taking shots, a lot of shots, and taking 18 to 20 shots. And Rich Kelly, a guy, white guy, went to the University of Stanford, played in the NBA. He grabbed me and he said, "Eddie, you got to be a better leader, man." And he just told me, he said, "Look," he said, "you all get on me all the time because I'm always staring at people." He said, "Look, you got to stare and figure people out." He said, "That's my motto. I was taught that." And he says, "You don't do that. You really into yourself." And I happened to be sitting next to him on a plane, and he talked to me about that. And he said, "Eddie, just start studying guys, and then you'll know how to approach them." He says, "Think about it. You snap back at guys when they say something to you and get on you." And I said, "Yeah." He said, "But you never snap back at me." That's what he said. He said, "I get on you, but you don't snap back at me." And I said, "Yeah, because you balance it." Like, exactly. He said, "I balanced it." He said, "I watched you, I observed you, I figured out how to approach you as everybody on his team. And when the time came and I had to say something to you, you took it because you know why? Because I was that first guy up off the bench grabbing you, saying, 'Eddie, great job, man, way to play,' coming over, giving you dap. You remember that stuff. So now, if I do say something to you, you will accept it." And you got to be willing to embrace that. So Devin just can't take it. Like, and I wish Charles had talked about that part of it because he was that kind of leader. Charles was unbelievable, man. He's one of the best teammates I ever had. When I got to Houston after, getting out of Denver, I forced him to waive me, and I got to Houston. You know what? 2 weeks later, I turned, I think, 38 years old or something like that. Charles said, "Hey, Eddie, come on down to this restaurant, man. Meet up with us, man. We was down at this restaurant." I walk in the restaurant, half the team, most of the team is in there, and he got a birthday party for me.
Yeah.
So it's that kind of stuff, man. So if that's not in Devin, we can't force it on him. but somebody on that team has to take that responsibility, and that's going to be important.
Yeah, I mean, I know it's not. It doesn't always have to be the star player, and I totally get that. And I do like your points. And let me ask you this. You know, to me, I don't know. I'm not trying to say that I was built different or anything like that. But you know, clearly, you know, when you got to Kansas City, there was a role, and then you had to grow into being the leader, or somebody had to point it out. And for me, like, I've always felt like it didn't really take me long to be quote unquote a leader in most of the positions I've ever found myself in, just because I felt like I've always been. It's always been inside of me. Like, I look forward to doing that. I look forward to helping people more than anything else. And servant leadership, in my opinion, is some of the best kind of leadership, because you're doing it with your counterparts, and you're trying to find ways for them to improve more than yourself. And I think Devin Booker's, you know, opportunity right now, because he showed that he provided a form of servant leadership when in the Olympics, because he sacrificed his own stuff for the greater good, and he made the sound basketball play in order for the team to win a gold medal. And I think that's the best example of leadership that you can find. That is very, very obvious to me. And I think that's something that he could learn from in the Olympics and bring over to the Suns. I look forward to it, because I feel like we're going to see a different kind of Devin Booker than maybe we've seen the previous, 9 years.
Yeah. Well, again, I mean, Devin, he showed leadership this summer in that regard. But the vocal part is the hardest, man.
Yeah.
Because you got to put a lot of effort into that. And I learned to do it. I know how to get people to move. You know it. I get you to move, and I'm not being funny with it. Like, I'll come in every morning and I probably didn't sleep well, but you never see me lacking energy. You never see me, because if it's a team, then I got to push you regardless. Like, I learned that. You got to have energy to be able to do that, man.
Yeah,
and so that's why I say everybody can't be a leader. It's great followers. Trust me, they got an owner with the Clippers right now. He was a follower. He followed Bill Gates out of college early, and he's one of the richest men in the world right now. Okay, so that's the point. It's like, leaders are not easy to find, but you got to be willing to embrace it. And I'm hoping that Devin does. I hope that KD does his part. I hope that Nurk does his part. See, to me, the one guy on that team that I could probably say, now Plumlee is going to show leadership. You know where he's going to show it? Dude's going to outwork everybody. In this dude's career, I've never seen him not work hard. So right there, that's leadership, right? Obviously, Tyus Jones, to me, has a great opportunity to be that leader, because he's the one that's got to distribute that ball, and he's the one that's got to tell KD, look, man, I know you were open. He was open too. And you know what? He hadn't gotten a shot in a while. I got to get him going. If he said that to KD like, okay, I got you. I think a point guard is really the one that should be able to do it. And Tyus Jones has been around the league long enough now to be that guy. And so I just don't want people to just put it all on one guy like Devin and say, oh, he should be the leader. Yeah, face of the franchise. He's been here forever. He grew up here as a basketball player for the Phoenix Suns, so you would like him to be that guy. But he does enough. He's great in the community. He's very courteous to people. All those things he does do. But we can't force him to be a vocal leader.
No,
you can't do it. It will sound corny. I had some guys tried to be leaders. Man, like, man, stop.
Yeah.
Stop. It's not you. And they come off gruff, so it's a different animal. Kurt Rambis was a leader on our team in the 90s when we were going to Western Conference Finals. Kurt Rambis was a leader, and Kevin Johnson too. But my point is, Kurt was a leader because he won championships. He had a cynical way of talking to you, which you had to get used to. But then once you figured it out, it was okay, and you loved him. It's that kind of guy sometimes, man. It doesn't always necessarily have to be one of the best players on the team.
Listen, I don't think I would ever say that about Devin Booker if I hadn't seen it for myself in terms of his ability to be a leader. Like, I know he's vocal. Like, I know he's vocal behind the scenes too. Like, I know in practice he can be vocal. Like, I've seen it firsthand. Like, so I know it's there. And also, like, his demeanor and his approach commands respect. It just does. Devin Booker is, like, if you didn't know who Devin Booker was, and this is one of the best things about what they used to say about Michael Jordan, right? Like, if you didn't know who Michael Jordan was, and you met him, you knew, like, oh, that's somebody. Mm-hmm. Like, you just know that's somebody. And that's how I feel about Devin Booker. If he walked in the room and nobody knew who he was, you would know that, like, okay, he's important. Somehow, some way, he's an important guy just because of the way he carries himself. That caring of himself is a form of leadership, right? There's it commands respect.
Right.
And that's what I think that, like, that's why I feel like he has such an impact. And I think he's going to have an impact even more this year.
Right. So being on time, how you dress, how you speak to people.
How hard you work.
Yeah. Well, those are all forms of leadership. Mm-hmm. But I think what Charles was talking about was a vocal leader. I think Charles was talking about sort of like me in Houston with him, Dream, and Clyde, when they were fighting for that left block all the time and they'd get into it. They needed somebody like me and Kevin Willis to say, man, stop. Stop, man. Mm-hmm. Like, we called a meeting with them three one time. Had all me and Kevin Willis and Mario Elie had all three of them in a room. And we was like, man, you all got to stop. Like, we weren't, but those are three Hall of Famers.
Yeah.
Here we are, above average players, but we're not Hall of Fame players, great players like they were. So that's what I'm saying. Like, you have to be willing to be able to do it, but do it in a way that just doesn't turn anybody off. And like I said, if Devin is not comfortable with that, there's many other ways he can lead that can help this team. And then a vocal guy can step up. And I happen to believe that guy should be Tyus Jones. He's on a contract year. He's going to try to prove himself this year. Obviously, he did the Suns a favor by taking the money that he did to come here. And so he has a great opportunity to lift these guys up. So he'll face a crazy payday if he's lifted them up and the Suns get out of the Western Conference. I mean, to me, it should be on his plate, but all of those guys should have a form of leadership. Yes.
Yeah. No, I agree. Speaking of leaders, in a little bit, we're going to talk about Nate Robinson and a bunch of other cool stuff. But before that, one of the leaders in this community is absolutely Circle K. You should get yourself down to Circle K by downloading the Inner Circle app, finding the closest location to you. Circle K is going to hook you up, first of all. They have tremendous discounts on gas, especially if you sign up for the Inner Circle app. You're going to save 25 cents a gallon your first 5 times you fill up, which is fantastic, especially in today's economy. And then on top of that, they're going to hook you up with 5 free drinks. So you can't go wrong there. And then you get discounts after discount after discount on a variety of different things, to include snacks, food, you name it. They're going to have discounts. Right here on the screen, you see our any size offer for Frosters or Polar Pops for 79 cents. If you use the Inner Circle app, you get that for 69 cents.
Nice.
There you go. And then on top of that, it's just, listen, there's so many locations around the valley. You cannot go wrong. Join the Inner Circle for free by downloading the Circle K app today. Terms and conditions apply at participating locations. Visit CircleK.com for details. Folks, there's a lot of things in this world that are just not ideal. And, we saw, example of that again yesterday with another school shooting, which is just really, really unfortunate. But I think one of the stories that I know in NBA circles, a lot of people are talking about, but nationally, I don't feel like it's getting as much love as I feel like it should be. And that's the story of Nate Robinson. And for those of you who don't know, Nate Robinson is going through he's going through it. First of all, he needs a kidney donor, and he needs one in the worst way. And there's a story on ESPN that was actually posted about a month ago talking about how a person was actually going through the kidney donor process, and they came across Nate Robinson and talked to Nate Robinson, And the process to Nate Robinson was completely different than it was for them. They were able to get a kidney donor. And Nate Robinson is still in search of a kidney, finally got put on a list. But there's all these things and all these complications from high blood pressure to a variety of different things that Nate Robinson's actually going through. And it's really unfortunate. And I just wanted to be able to make sure that we give a little bit of love to Nate Robinson. We're praying for him. We hope that he finds his way through. It's a scary situation to know that if you don't get something relatively soon, that could be it. And every day he goes to sleep, in the article he says like every day he wakes up, he thanks God that he's still alive, because you just never know when that's going to hit. And so, there's an organization out there for you to be able to go out. There's a link that we're putting in the chat for you to be able to find out if you can be a kidney donor, because a live kidney actually is better than getting one from a deceased person, because it's functional a little bit more and it lasts a little bit longer. I think the lifespan is like 10 to 20 years as opposed to like 5 to 10, which is, that's significant and it's important. Did you have anything that you wanted to add to that before we get to this?
No, it's unfortunate. I've read his story a little bit, and he's had this battle for a while, believe it or not, even while he was playing.
Yeah.
And that was obviously kept secret by him.
Diagnosed that he could have, that he had something in 2006.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Yeah. So he's been dealing with this for a while. And it's a sad story. And I hope everything works out. It
is a sad story. And on a personal note, I was very fortunate when I was down at the University of Arizona. I have a lifelong friend by the name of Gerald Brown. And he's a tremendous individual, one of my favorite people I've ever met in my life. And while I was down at the U of A, he lives in Tucson. I was able to kind of tell his story. And it's about, being a kidney donor and receiving a kidney. Very interesting story. So I wanted to share that with you guys, so you guys can kind of get a little bit of an insight into the complications and really the impact, not only to the individual themselves, but also in the community that surrounds them, and obviously the family and friends. So take a look.
I will say, just for audio listeners,
Yes.
This is a topic on somebody who is deaf. So there's going to be a lot of blank audio. If you want to get the full story, you need to watch it. Come watch on YouTube. We're going to cut out the audio part of it, and it's going to jump about 15 minutes forward. So would encourage them to come to the YouTube video. But without further ado.
The recipe for its coach, Gerald Brown, is simple: positivity and patience. The Sentinels head into the last game of the season with a 10-4 record, a reversal from a 4-10 record just a season ago. But tonight, they face their rival, Baba Quiver, a team they've lost to 7 times in a row. It needs a win or the season is over. The Sentinels have survived all season based on 3 things: their patience, their defense, and most importantly, their shooting. They've already accomplished one of 2 goals, becoming the best deaf school on the West Coast, the Western States basketball champions. Following his days at Pima Community College, Brown was out of options until an opportunity at ASDB came along his way. Brown would go on to be the head coach of the varsity football team, as well as track and boys basketball. According to those around him, Brown's most intriguing quality is his personality. He communicates effectively with his coaches, his players, as well as the supporters of the ASDB program. Brown has fostered a family environment within that basketball program. Positivity and patience, the cornerstones of Brown's program. Though even the 10-year head coach can show glimpses of impatience. The Sentinels have come out and set the tone, taking an 8-point lead into the half. They're now just 16 minutes away from achieving their season-long goal. Though even Coach Brown couldn't have envisioned the success he had based on the circumstances from just a season ago. Brown would be diagnosed with lupus in 2010. He would no longer coach football.
Yeah, the day I found out he had lupus, I thought he was going to die. I think every 2 years after that, I thought he was going to die because he'd been in and out of the hospital in the emergency room, I would say at least 2-3 times a year. He'd missed some Christmases, and I already saw his body just not Gerald. So I started preparing. I had to start protecting myself. Currently, in the U.S., there are over 93,000 people awaiting a transplant. The wait can take as long as 10 years without an individual donor. It was just everything had to be put on hold. Luckily, we had a support system. But I heard so much about the Mayo Clinic that I went ahead and contacted them, and we went straight there. I mean, they took care of us. We learned what the process looks like for a kidney donation, because I don't want to lose him. He's my best friend, you know? Baba Kivari scores 10 straight points to begin the second half and take the lead. With his team on the ropes, Coach Brown tries to settle everybody down. Okay, Manuel's going to go here. Dude, you're going to be near.
They trail by 3 going into the final quarter. But sometimes luck can come from unexpected places.
that they don't have the services for Giovanni. So he wanted to play sports. So he tried for basketball, and the coach told him that he couldn't make the team, not because he wasn't good, just because he was deaf. So that broke Giovanni's heart bad. So when we went there and I checked out the school, I was so impressed. Not about the deaf people, what it got my attention was the blind people playing sport. I was like, how can they do that? It surprised me really, really bad. I was like, oh my God, this is so cool.
Sophomore Giovanni Correa is one of the better players on this year's ASTD basketball team. His abilities to play offense, defense, and more importantly to coaches, his awareness is what separates him from most. That awareness also translates to off the court.
He never told me about his sickness. He never told me about anything. All I said is, hi, bye, how's Giovanni doing? Giovanni stop, and Giovanni this. It's all about Giovanni and how he want he to be, like better. Giovanni kept talking to me about that he's sick, he's in dialysis, and why he's in dialysis. I don't know. I know he goes to the hospital every other day. He was like, well, why? He goes, I don't know, Mom. Well, ask him. Like, why did he have to go? And they go like, I don't know.
Giovanni's mom had asked and said, what can I do? What can I do? Because I know Giovanni was upset. Coach is gone. Kidney failed. He has to go to dialysis, and he was confused. And so I'm sure his mother was asking, well, what can I do?
I couldn't sleep, and thinking about what if something goes wrong with what is Lady's going to do, what is the kids is going to do, without the dad. The kids depends on him. So I kind of because of that, I decided to, okay, well, let's give it a try. I think he deserves another chance. The first thing that I asked the doctor was, would it be possible he call me ignorant? I don't know. But because he's African American and I'm Latina, I was like, was that would it possible that I can be, imagine that the organs had nothing to do with it. I was like, okay. But yeah, I was like, when they told me that was a perfect match for him, I got so happy. Happy for them and the family.
The two would spend a week together, surrounded by family and friends, but most importantly, each other. After the week was over, Yasmin went back home, and Gerald would stay another 5 weeks.
How's your kidney? Good. Oh my God, I go to pee every half an hour. I think that's good. See, that's a healthy kidney. That kidney never been, having no alcohol, no smoke, no drugs. So you better be careful. You better take care of mine.
My kids call him cousin.
We're like brother and sister.
But not everything in life works out the way you want it to. As Brown's ASDB crew gets outscored 34-21 in the second half. It loses 47-42. Their season is over.
Have to remain optimistic that we have that system, the family and friends that are here for us, you know.
Sometimes people come out to me, oh my God, you did. I was like, that was nothing. That was for somebody to help. I don't feel like I did something big, like everybody can come out to me. But as a matter of fact, I didn't want nobody to know that it was me, because I didn't want questions or anything, you know. And I don't want, because I did that, I don't want that they think my son has a special treatment over there, you know what I mean?
But you realize that you might have just saved his life, though.
That, yeah.
So, you know, listen, I thought that's just a pretty cool story. And, you know, if you want to see more of it, we can put the link in a tweet or something like that. We'll share it. But, you know, listen, shout out to Nate Robinson. Hopefully he can find his way through this. Hopefully he can find a kidney donor. If you feel interested and you want to learn more about it, please, again, we dropped the link in our chat. Check it out. A lot of great information there. And if you know anybody out there that is going through this as well, you know, our prayers go out to them as well. It's just it's an unfortunate situation that sometimes people find themselves in. And you know, there's a lot of people that are going through it. And Nate Robinson is obviously one of those, and we're hoping for the best for all of them.
Well, if we all have an opportunity to live a full life, we're going to go through storms to get to that end, right? And that's just how it plays out. And so that's the difficult part. Everyone is going to battle something if they're going to live a long life, and they're going to have to find a way to get through it. He found a way. As he said, he struggled. He had his down periods, and then all of a sudden an angel appeared in front of him and saved him. So forget about the times he was upset and he struggled. He needs to think about the full balance of what he did, and he stayed positive. He was very cognizant of getting his treatments. He did everything right, even though at times he thinks that he maybe stepped back, but he really didn't. Those are just situations. It's almost like winning a championship. Boston won a championship last year, but it was periods during the season. People like, uh-oh, I don't know.
Yeah.
Periods during the playoffs. Uh-oh, I don't know. And then ultimately, because of all the hard work they put in from start to finish, it was better than everybody else's, and they were able to hoist the trophy. So that's how I look at it. And so a great story, without a doubt.
Yeah, and that story, by the way, of Gerald, that was produced in 2018. Like I said, it was for my master's thesis. So, but he's doing great today. 6 years later after the surgery and the kidney, he's living a full life and still doing his thing down there at the Arizona School for the Deaf and the Blind. And shout out to that school. They do a lot of tremendous work, man. A lot of great people
thesis, man.
Appreciate it. There's no easy way to transition from that to. It's football day. Today kicks off another season of the NFL. I know we're all excited. I know Eddie's excited about his Bears.
I'm not that excited.
Why?
Huh?
Dude, I'm excited for you guys.
I'm not that excited.
Why?
Because DirecTV, man.
Oh, that, yeah. Yeah, it sucks.
I mean, the audacity. I mean, they tried to prove a point and just shut it off right at the U.S. Open.
Oh,
really? Yeah. Like, you're going to penalize the people. I've been, 25 years. I've been with DirecTV. they close to losing me.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm excited about football, obviously, but I just don't like the fact I got to navigate now. I got to go to ESPN Plus again, then I got to project it up to my TV, and I got to do all that. I'm just used to pushing the button.
I mean, there's like 18 different channels that the NFL games are going to be on this season. It's like hard to keep up anyway. So,
what do you mean? I got Sunday ticket.
Well, I mean,
and I got 2 big giant TVs.
But if you don't have DirecTV, do you have Sunday ticket? Do you?
It's on YouTube.
Okay. I got you.
Catch up.
I thought you only had it on DirecTV, my man.
No, DirecTV is done. YouTube bought that out.
Oh, okay.
Year.
Okay.
Okay. All right. So I got the big 2 screens up there,
BC said rich people.
Flat screens are very inexpensive nowadays. Stop.
That's true. You can get one for about $300 nowadays. A big 55-inch over at Costco. There you go.
Did you see that the Bengals are selling TVs from their stadium?
What?
Like their old concession TVs for like $80.
No way.
Yeah.
Concession TVs.
Yeah, but I mean, I think you could use them for other
if you
things.
need a TV.
Yeah, you can.
$80 ain't bad, man.
No, you can go on to Facebook Marketplace and get one for like 40. It's not. If you can't find a TV, you're just not trying. Let's be real.
Hard Knocks was good. My Bears were on there. The Bears. And the Bears open up this week against Tennessee. Mm-hmm. I'm pumped up. I wasn't happy when Justin Fields got moved, but Williams he's special. And let's hope we keep him healthy. We got great receivers. I'm ready, man. My Bears this year. I project 10 or 11 games we're going to win this year.
Ooh, 10 or 11. Well, let's talk about projections there, EJ. I'm glad you segued right into it unknowingly. Let's make a prediction. I assume you think Caleb Williams is going to be Rookie of the Year?
Well, not always a guarantee.
He's got as good a chance as anybody.
He has as good a chance as anybody. But, you got rookie running backs out there. They're always a danger. You got maybe a great defender. You might get 10 sacks. I mean, it's just always hard. I don't want him to chase being Rookie of the Year. I just want him to do whatever it takes to put wins on the board. And he talked about that yesterday in an article I read. That's all I want from him. So, I think he'll probably have a great chance to win it, but I wouldn't pencil him in. No.
Our guys, Johnny and Bo, I assume they're going to give their predictions on the season if they haven't already. But I personally think that the Cardinals will be close to the playoffs. I got them winning 9 games this season, 9 and 8. I think they'll have a winning record.
Cardinals?
I do. I feel pretty good. I feel like they're going to surprise a lot of people. Especially
How does Murray look?
I think Kyler Murray looks great. He's going to be fantastic. He's come ready to go. I'm excited for that. What do you think they're going to do this year?
Well, I like the Marvin Harrison draft pick. I was hoping, Bass found a way to move up, but we got Dunzo, so we're cool. He's tremendous. Adunzo, he's cool. So I like him.
Adunze.
I like him. But Marvin Harrison Jr. is a huge pickup for the Cardinals. So, he'll be exciting. His dad was unbelievable. If he's anything, if he's a half of his dad, then he's going to be great.
Yeah. No, I think the work ethic proves that he's gonna start off his rookie campaign because he's another one that could potentially win Rookie of the Year, obviously. He's my pick for Rookie of the Year. And then, obviously, tonight, Kansas City versus Baltimore to open up the season. And then a unique Friday night game in Brazil. The Eagles take on the Green Bay Packers. They've had to beef up security. How would you like to play a game in Brazil?
Well, I mean, this is a guy I played in Europe, all over Europe and playing in games.
It's Brazil.
I mean, they got beaches. What do you mean?
I would love to play in Brazil. I ain't gonna lie about
I've never been there. Leandro Barbosa always said, Eddie, my man, you got to come visit me in Brazil. And I told him, I said, I'm going to take you up on it. When he was here for the Sean Marion and Amari Stoudemire, banner hanging, he said, Eddie, you need to come to Brazil, man. You got to come there. And he's been telling me this ever since he's been a son.
I mean, what are we waiting for?
Well.
You booked it. If you tell me the date, I'll go with you.
I'll get there.
Next Outside Shots show is just going to be Eddie,
live from Rio de Janeiro, baby.
Leandro just on a beach.
Well, I'm not a beach guy, so I'll be on a golf course somewhere.
Yeah. Well, hey, whatever floats your boat. Who do you think is going to win the Super Bowl this year? Who would be your pick to go all the way?
Well, Kansas City won it, man. They won it 3 out of the last 4 years.
You think
So
they can
you can't overlook them. Kelsey's getting a little older, but you just can't overlook them, man. But I think the parity is picking itself up. I know in the black and blue division, with the Bears, Green Bay, and
The Lions.
Detroit,
Ooh.
Minnesota. I mean, these divisions are getting better and tougher. So I would probably say no, they're not going to repeat. And so in saying that, I mean, the game tonight is going to show it. I think Baltimore's got a tremendous team. They pick up Derrick Henry. Come on, man. They got two of the best runners in football now. The quarterback and Henry.
He seems like a Raven, doesn't he?
Can you imagine an option to either Henry or him or Jackson take off? How terrifying is that for the linebacker? I don't know what to do here, but whatever I'm going to do, I'm going to get punished, you know?
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's going to be interesting. But I would lean toward Baltimore.
The most notable Titan to become a Raven since...
The most notable Titan to become a Raven.
Who's the last one that was notable that did that? Played quarterback.
Oh, they played quarterback?
Come on.
McNair.
There you go. Eric McNair. Steve McNair.
Steve McNair.
R.I.P.
I just saw, by the fact, saw his documentary. Just saw his documentary as well. I encourage people to go watch it.
That's pretty good. It was pretty good.
Yeah. Sad.
All right. Yeah, very sad. All right. Let's do a little trivia there. It's limited trivia. Let's just do it that way. But I was kind of curious for NBA purposes, how many Sun Devils and how many Wildcats have ever played for the Phoenix Suns? So I just need a number. Don't look it up, Eric. Oh, you're on your computer. I don't know, man. I can't trust it.
Coding the episode.
How many Arizona State Sun Devils, Eddie, have ever played
State
for the Phoenix Suns? Just give me a number. And if you have a guess out there, throw it out there.
I feel like 0.
Guys, Eddie House.
Oh, Eddie, 1. Then just 1.
Mario Bennett. That's 2 off the top.
Who?
Mario Bennett.
Well,
What do you mean? Who?
I said 1, Eddie House. That's what I was thinking about.
Yeah. It's actually been 10.
A
long
10?
list.
Hold
all
up,
the way
man.
back
They
to the
can't be on a
70s.
10-day contract.
All the way back to the 70s.
No, we don't count 10 days.
They didn't have 10 days
That's
in the
like a
70s,
vacation.
buddy.
Yeah, they did.
10. How many Wildcats?
Oh,
This is going to throw you off.
no, probably about 30.
I mean, Ayton for sure.
30.
Obviously.
At least 30.
At least 30?
Yeah.
No. I think it's less.
No.
8.
No.
Ooh, close. It's actually 6.
That's embarrassing.
6.
It's
Only 6
embarrassing.
Wildcats.
Illinois got more than that.
Yeah.
in
I mean,
the
good for
NBA.
them.
Y'all soft.
We have a lot more guys in the league.
Y'all soft.
Okay.
You
Eddie.
all are soft.
Because of one team.
I mean, Illinois, that's the school I went to.
Arizona has
we
more
had
NBA
players
players.
than Arizona.
No, you don't.
We did.
For the Phoenix Suns. Not in the NBA.
I was thinking in the NBA.
Yeah, guy, come on.
I
Stay on track.
I actually think I think probably in the league. It's close.
Okay. We'll find that out on the next Outside Shots. But for Eddie Johnson, you can follow him at JumpShot8 on Twitter and Instagram. For myself, you can follow me at Saul_Bookman.
Go Sun Devils. I like ASU better anyway.
Let's go, Eddie. That is
I
right.
like ASU better anyway. ASU, get it together over there. Great campus, great location. Yeah, come on, don't let that suburban school down south outdo you.
Suburban school
That's
down
suburban.
South.
That is a
Tucson-
very interesting way to
Tucson
put
is
it.
They're
the
getting it
suburbs
together,
of
Eddie.
Phoenix.
Listen.
Tucson is the suburbs of Phoenix. Tempe's bigger than Tucson.
Tucson is better than all those cities.
Yeah,
that you just
please.
named,
Remember the
Tucson
bunch of
is
mountains
champ.
and a
Thank
bunch
you,
of
Ogre. Thank you,
snowbirds
Ted. Thanks, BC.
taking up golf
Thank you
courses.
to everybody else, Dagoon, Amelia, all
No
over the chat today.
restaurants.
We do appreciate y'all. Until the next Outside Shots, which programming alert will be next Monday at 9 a.m. That will be the new day and the new time moving forward.
ASU.
We appreciate everything you guys do.
ASU.
Love y'all. Have a great day.
ASU.
Peace. Wildcats.
Go Devils.